Questioning. There are broadly two types of questions, open-ended and close-ended. Close-ended questions probably have one answer, a yes or a no. Even if there are some choices, the answer is definitely going to be one of these. What's your name? Is a close-ended question. Would you like to have tea? Is a close-ended question. Because the choices are limited. A typical open-ended question is like, to tell me something about yourself, but the distinction between the two are not clear. Open-ended questions are more beneficial because, in that case, you have a choice to divert it to your own area. Close-ended questions have no two ways about it. It is your responsibility to convert a close-ended question into an open-ended one, if you can do it. Typically, interviews start with a general question. Introduce yourself is a favorite question. Moreover, this reveals a lot about the person, and it also helps you feel comfortable in that situation. If the person is not good in academics, a very likely scenario is that you speak about it in a low voice. These are things which can be made out, and so you just need to ensure that you are fairly confident in what you say.
And while doing an interview, let me also tell you this. Try to develop a conversation. Let it not just be a question and answer session. Try to develop a conversation and try to build up a relationship through communication. Interviews, I always believe, as I said, it's just not for getting jobs or getting college admission or television. Don't forget, even when you have a life within yourself, sometimes you need to have a conversation or an interview with your son and a father, husband, wife. This happens. We don't call it interviews, we call it conversations. But sometimes these things also happen, right? So you try to be a very good communicator, be clear in your thinking, and be positive in your approach. If you have all this, and be a natural self, and try to be cheerful.
Well, I'm not exactly sure what you mean. We've already offered you a position.
Nobody in this town works without a Vixana, guys. You think you can find somebody who does? I tell you, you have my blessing. But I think we all know that person's not going to represent you as well as I can.
Well, our offer is $84,000 a year.
Retainer. Retainer.
You want us to give you cash right now?
Whoa. Easy. Now, I didn't say that. Allegedly, your situation for you would be concurrently improved if I had $200 in my back pocket right now.
Well, I don't think I can... Larry?
I've got $73.
Will you take a check?
Let me tell you something. You're suspect. Yeah, you. I don't know what your reputation is in this town. But after the shit you tried to pull today, you can bet I'll be looking into you. Now, the business we have heretofore, you can speak with my aforementioned attorney. Good day, gentlemen. And until that day comes, keep your ear to the grindstone.
When you attend an interview, you should be first clear in your mind. Your thought process should be very clear. You take my own example. I've been a chairman of Indian cricket. When you're a chairman of selection committee of Indian cricket, what happens? The media is hounding. They are all waiting. There are, you have so many channels, so many press, photographers, everybody, and there are times the interview goes live. Especially when the interview goes live, you have no choice. You cannot make mistakes. So when you go to an interview, what I do is, especially after a selection meeting, sometimes what happens, there are interviews conducted when the team does badly. When the team does well, fine man, no hassles for me. But there are times when the team does badly and the whole media is after you and say, why did you not doing well? Is this because of your selection? Your selection process is wrong. You should have picked this fellow for the World Cup. Why did you not pick? You know how it is. See, when you attend all these interviews, what do you have to do? You cannot shy away from the media. Being a chairman of selection committee, you are answerable to the public of India. The public of India wants to know what exactly happened, why things are not going well. The same way, even in your case, if you want to attend a personal interview for a promotion, or you're going for selling a product which is equal to an interview, whatever it is, when you're facing a big managing director of an organization, and when you're having discussion, a managing director of an organization, you need to be bold, number one. Number two, most important, be calm in your mind. Collective thought process. Because if you have clarity in thinking, that is what comes out of your mouth. Suddenly one fellow will pose all kinds of vague questions. You should be able to leave those bouncers away beautifully. Just like I say, hey boss, that question is a bouncer, I'll leave it. Or you should have a good sense of humor and just try to evade the question. There are some questions you'll have to evade. Some tricky questions. Some stressful questions. That is one way of handling interviews. Handling interviews itself is an art. And one of the best ways I always believe is you should have a good sense of humor. I'm telling you, everybody loves it when you have a good sense of humor added along with it. And most important, be clear and honest with your comments. Be very honest. And if you have made a mistake, accept it, you made a mistake, nothing wrong. Rather than trying to protect yourself, you say, yes boss, my selection process was wrong, I'm sorry. We tried a particular player, it didn't work. But then if you have a strong case of saying why you selected him and why this team was this, then if you really feel that what you have done is right job, or your team has done its job, go ahead telling it. Don't be wishy-washy. Let me be very frank. Nobody likes wishy-washy people. They want straightforward people and answer very boldly. End of the day, you have to have faith in your own abilities. That's why I keep on coming back to the point, belief in yourself. As a chairman of selection committee, I knew what I did. I knew what went on at the team meeting. I did not explain to them what went inside the meeting. But I can always say, this is the vision for Indian cricket, this is why we are doing, and I'm confident this will happen. I mean, everything is expectations. So similarly, when you want to go and attend an interview, either for a job or a promotion, or you want a promotion of your product, be very clear what you want, be bold. Don't be arrogant. There's a lot of difference between boldness and arrogance. And as I say, give a subtle humor, bring in a smile, do it with a smile. And don't forget, people like smiling people. Everybody wants pleasant things. Everybody likes pleasant people. So always be smiling. Don't be morose in an interview and say, oh, what to do? What is the question he's going to ask me? What is that fellow going to ask me next? I'm scared. I'm scared means you're gone. Never be scared. Another point that you'll have to bring in interviews or in a group discussion. Sometimes what happens? Interview happens like a group discussion. The managing director calls you. What is it special that you're going to bring to the table? Or why is it happening? And people start having a group discussion. In a group discussion, a very important tip I'll give you. Don't try to jut in when others are speaking. Number one. Number two, listen, be a good listener. You first have to listen to somebody and then only be able to answer. Sometimes what happens in interviews or in this group discussions is, you think or you assume this is what that man across the table is going to ask me and this is what going to be my answer, and then you're going like that. Sometimes it happens to me. That's what I'm trying to say. So you start preempting. So when he asks a different question, you would have expected X type of a question, but then ultimately the guy is asking a Y type of a question or a discussion. You are unprepared because you're only prepared for the X. You're only focused, oh, X question, this question, he's going to ask me this question, he's going to ask me these kind of questions. We are only prepared for that. Never do that. Go with an open mind. And be very clear. Why do you go for an interview? You want either, I don't think you should try to impress yourself. Never do that. Never try to impress yourself. You say, suppose they ask you, what is it you bring to the table that will enhance the company's performance or whatever it is. You say, boss, this is what I can do. This is what I cannot do. This is how I'm going to do. If I do this, I'm confident this will be the level of the team or the company. And if I'm able to implement it successfully, this will not happen. So clearly explain what your objectives are, how you're going to act and how you're going to implement it. Rather than just being vague about it. In a group discussion, this is very, very important. And most importantly, wait for your turn. Just sometimes you sit on the edge of the seat and say, wow, I'm waiting for your turn, waiting for your turn. He says, X is finished, Y is it? Then he says, hey, no, I don't agree with what he said. No, never point fingers at others. Somebody is given a point of view in a group discussion. You give your point of view. Don't say, I don't agree. No, from my point of view, this is it. Let the guy sitting across the table decide which is better. So this is one way of attending interviews. And I always believe, end of the day, speak from your heart. I'm a person, I've repeated this heart issue for you so many times over and over again in a lot of these topics. Heart is the place where everything starts. So whatever you want to do it from your heart. Whatever you want to say it from your heart. If you use your mind, you're trying to impress people. You might impress a couple of them, a couple of answers, but end of the day, if the guy who's interviewing is a very smart joke, he will know you're not a true person. So, if you want to be truthful, if you want to be honest, if you want to be a very clear-cut interview, straightforward person, you do it in a very honest and a straightforward manner.